Okay, so here's the deal. Oklahoma actually found something in that Tulane game that they're probably going to be able to use this week against Tennessee and probably for the rest of the season. And it's something you're probably not picking up on. But additionally, if you guys follow the post-practice interviews and things like that, you might have heard Jackson Arnold say something pretty interesting about Nic Anderson returning this week that actually is going to excite you. Quite frankly, it sounds like he's back. And if Nick Six is back, this is good news for Oklahoma. This is what you've needed. This is something that we've talked about in the offense that would really open it up and probably help reestablish some faith between Jackson Arnold and those wide receivers. Guys, we got to talk about it because this is a big game for Oklahoma against Tennessee, and it's quite frankly a game that 90% of the money is going towards Tennessee, which means a lot of people think Tennessee is going to win this game. That's quite frankly what this is. People think Tennessee are going to come into our house and that they're going to, quite frankly, run all over us. But people are not looking at the fact of Tennessee. I'm not going to say they're a fraudulent team, but they're a team that ain't played nobody. And they're a team that they ain't been tested in the back in the DBs. Same thing for Texas. Now, we ain't here to talk about Texas today, but it's kind of the same macho, right? I think they played up front pretty well. But when you look at their sacks this season compared to what Oklahoma's done in terms of the defensive production, it ain't there. So let's talk about it. Before we jump into it, though, make sure you join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like and you hit that subscribe button. Because here's the deal. Oklahoma's an underdog this week at home. And this is big. And so if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're kind of hoping some Sooner Magic shows up or something like that, right? So Nic Anderson, like you listened to Jackson Arnold in that post-game presser. I'm going to link the Sooner Scoops interview below. You guys can watch it there. They post all of them up there. Really great content. Make sure you guys tune in over there and subscribe if you're not. But they posted the post-game practice interview with Jackson Arnold, and Jackson talked about one of the things that I think has frustrated us as fans the most because he said, oh, well, Nick had been teasing me like, oh, I'm going to be back this week, right? But, like he didn't end up coming back. He would play in practices. He would suit up on the sidelines. He would even go through warmups, but Nick wouldn't play in the games. They went as far as to list him on the depth chart. But today we're going to be getting an injury report from Oklahoma. Because remember, those are new this year. SEC matchups, you're going to get injury reports on Wednesdays. We're going to find out whether or not they're going to list Nic Anderson as probable. That's what you're looking for if you're an Oklahoma fan. You're looking for Nic Anderson to be probable in this game because if he's probable, he's playing. And if you're Oklahoma, you need Nic Anderson to be playing. He was a guy that gave you 668 yards last year and 10 touchdowns. Like he is a guy that he is a red zone threat and he is a deep threat for you. And this is going to help Deion Burks out a lot because Deion Burks, you've been watching the defenses. They play on him on the outside hard. They don't let him get deep. They'll let him take some of those middle passes, but they've got 2 or 3 guys on him all the time. You get Nic Anderson out there, the defense ain't going to be able to do that. Now, also, we don't know what Tennessee secondary is going to look like. A lot of people are just thinking they're going to be mid. And quite frankly, I've told you, if you're not coming in with a good or an elite secondary, Oklahoma's going to torch you in the passing game. And I think we're going to see, like, it is bound to happen. A passing game, kind of like what we saw against Arizona, for Jackson Arnold is coming. If Jackson Arnold throws for 400 yards and 2 picks, I'm taking it. I'm taking it all day long. Because that means if he threw for 400 yards, you probably got 3 touchdowns through the air. At least 3 touchdowns. And if you're throwing the ball like that, you're probably running the ball well now. Because what a lot of people don't understand is they're like, well, the running game's not performing well. Well, it's because you've got the defense stacking the box. You've got your safeties playing 12 feet. And your running backs ain't got no room to go. They ain't got nowhere to go. So you need to get the passing game going. Nic Anderson, he alleviates a lot of that problem. Now, you might be asking, well, what are you talking about in terms of what did Oklahoma find last week that they can use this week? It's quite frankly is this. You need to like and subscribe to this video. But it comes down to this. Bauer Sharp, Jake Roberts, they are 2 tight ends that I think block really well. When you look at some of the best blockers on this team, you get Fabici Wewu and Michael Tarquin. Obviously, you want those two guys on the right side to be the best. But Javonte Barnes and Taylor Tatum, they're at 3 and 4 in the running back. So that's good, right? You know, they can block out of the backfield, which you're going to need this week. But Jake Roberts and Bauer Schaub are right there at 5 and 6 as two guys that can be really good blockers for you and guys that you're going to have to utilize this week. Because if you run out an offensive line that looks like Tarquin, Fabici Wewu, Branson Hickman, either Heath Ozida or Troy Everett, and then Sexton at left tackle, listen, they're going to put Pierce on the weakest tackle. And you're going to want a tight end lined up next to that tackle, which I'm assuming they're probably going to target Sexton in this game before they move him over to Tarquin. You're going to want that tight end to be right next to him to be able to provide some relief support blocking. Additionally, your running back in the backfield is going to have to be ready. There might be times where you have to run out a 2 tight end set to be able to keep Pierce from killing you. You have to make sure that if you're getting Nic Anderson back, you're giving Jackson Arnold enough time to get that ball out. You're going to have to make sure you give him enough time to let those wide receivers run their routes. Because here's the deal. One of the things that we've seen lacking on this offense is Jackson Arnold's trust and chemistry with the offensive line. And I think it comes to both, right? I think there's times where he doesn't trust his offensive line to block for him, so he makes mistakes. But there's also a chemistry issue. He hasn't really had a consistent offensive line. You get the kid a consistent offensive line. They don't even have to be good. Just get him a consistent offensive line so he knows who's blocking in front of him. It allows him to learn how quickly he can hold on to the ball and things like that, right? And that's all going to come in time. That's all going to come with more experience for Arnold, but it's going to help out more than you think. So I look at it and I say, if you're Oklahoma, you found out you've got 4 other people that can block for you on this team. They can block for you well, but not to mention Bauer Sharp is a guy who's caught 10 receptions for you this year, only 80 yards and 1 touchdown. But Bauer Sharp is a guy that can be a weapon for you in this pass game. He's a guy that you're going to have to utilize. And same thing for Jake Roberts. Although he's only had 4 receptions, he's got 56 yards on the year and 1 touchdown. So when you get into the red zone, you might have to utilize both tight ends more than I think probably your star wide receivers, because I think it's something that the defense is going to have to be a little bit more on edge for. They're going to have to dedicate more people for it, and I think it's something that Oklahoma can win with. I think it's something that Oklahoma can use to their advantage. It's something that we haven't seen here in a while. So, guys, I want to hear from y'all. Make sure you guys join the discussion. Jump down in the comments below, because this is one of the most hyped games we have seen in Norman, Oklahoma in years. And I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're kind of hoping the Sooner Magic comes out for this one. So if you guys are new to the channel and you guys have made it this far, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts.